welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha television. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Ladakh, where he delivered a strong and direct message to China, is our top focus this evening. Also, all the updates on coronavirus situation. Over 20,000 cases reported in India in 24 hours for the first time. Those big stories and much more coming up ahead. The top story this evening. Amid a tense border standoff with China, Prime Minister Narendra Modi made a surprise visit to Ladakh on Friday. Accompanied by Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat and Army Chief General MM Narvane, the Prime Minister interacted with the personnel of the Army, Air Force and ITBP. Here is a detailed report.
तेजी से बदलते हुए समय में विकासवाद ही प्रासंगिक है। विकासवाद के लिए ही अवसर है और विकासवाद ही भविष्य का आधार भी है। बीती शताब्दियों में विस्तारवाद ने ही मानवता का सबसे ज्यादा हित किया, मानवता को विनाश करने का प्रयास किया। विस्तारवाद की जीत जब किसी पर सवार हुई है, उसने हमेशा विश्व शांति के सामने खतरा पैदा किया।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi sending out an unequivocal message from the higher reaches of Nimu in Ladakh on Friday morning. Even as he did not name China, the Prime Minister categorically told India's neighbor that the era of expansionism is over. He said history shows how expansionist forces have either lost or turned back. Addressing the troops of the Army, Air Force and ITBP, Prime Minister Modi reiterated India's commitment to peace, but warned that this must not be seen as a weakness. He said those who are weak can never initiate steps for peace.
आपका ये हौसला, आपका शौर्य और मां भारती के मान सम्मान की रक्षा के लिए आपका समर्पण अतुलनीय है। आपकी जीवटता भी दुनिया में किसी से भी कम नहीं है। जिन कठिन परिस्थितियों में, जिस ऊंचाई पर आप मां भारती की ढाल बन करके उसकी रक्षा करते हैं, उसकी सेवा करते हैं, उसका मुकाबला पूरे विश्व में कोई नहीं कर सकता है।
The Prime Minister spoke about the efforts in recent years to strengthen the national security apparatus and to ensure the well-being of our armed forces.
अब देश में बॉर्डर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर खर्च करीब 3 गुना कर दिया गया है। सेनाओं में बेहतर समन्वय के लिए लंबे समय से जिसकी आशा थी, वो चीफ ऑफ डिफेंस स्टाफ के पद का गठन करने की बात हो या फिर नेशनल वॉर मेमोरियल का निर्माण, 1 रैंक 1 पेंशन का फैसला हो या फिर आपके परिवार की देखरेख से लेकर शिक्षा तक की सही व्यवस्था के लिए लगातार काम देश आज हर स्तर पर अपनी सेनाओं और सैनिकों को मजबूत कर रहा है।
The Prime Minister also paid homage to soldiers who made the supreme sacrifice in the Galwan Valley clash on the 15th of June. He said the courage and devotion of our armed forces is unparalleled, adding that it's due to the exemplary bravery displayed by them in recent weeks that the world has taken note of India's strength. Prime Minister Modi also visited soldiers injured in the Galwan Valley clash with the Chinese troops. This was the first high-profile visit to Ladakh since the border standoff with China erupted in early May.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Leh and his speech before the soldiers have given very clear message to international community, to China and also to the domestic community that India cannot be cowed down in such a situation. And the menace of expansionism cannot continue in globalized world. India is ready to combat if situation comes, but India wants peace and no peace comes without display of power. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Kamaljeet in Delhi.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi's sudden visit to Ladakh garnered huge appreciation from union ministers, political leaders, defense experts, as well as common people.
In a Twitter message, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh thanked Prime Minister Modi for the surprise move. He said it has boosted the morale of the troops deployed at the LAC. Home Minister Amit Shah also said on Twitter that Prime Minister Modi was leading from the front. He said the visit of the Honourable Prime Minister to Ladakh will certainly boost the morale of our valiant soldiers. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar said that by visiting Ladakh, the Prime Minister has conveyed to our soldiers deployed there that the entire nation is with them. Textiles Minister Smriti Irani's message in Hindi said, Army's valour and Prime Minister Modi's trust. This is the powerful leadership of a competent new India. BJP President JP Nadda also described Prime Minister Modi's visit to Ladakh as true leadership in action. He said the words of Prime Minister Modi give words to the emotion of 130 crore Indians and act as a great morale booster for our armed forces.
China is facing global criticism over its national security law. Several nations are asking Beijing to reconsider it, saying that it undermines freedom in Hong Kong. Many countries have issued a joint statement against China at the UN Human Rights Council at Geneva. Signatories include Australia, Austria, Belgium, Canada, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Iceland, Ireland, Germany, the United Kingdom and others. The statement reads, the joint declaration, a legally binding treaty registered with the United Nations, sets out that Hong Kong is guaranteed a high degree of autonomy and rights and freedoms. Making such a law without the direct participation of Hong Kong's people, legislature or judiciary of Hong Kong undermines one country, two systems, unquote. Washington is imposing sanctions on those violating Hong Kong's autonomy. The US also said it will stop exporting equipment to Hong Kong and warned that the new law risks the special trade relations it shares with Hong Kong. The United Kingdom also said that it will amend immigration laws to make it easy for Hong Kongers to move. The European Parliament has asked member states to adopt sanctions against the CCP officials. India has also urged the United Nations to seriously and objectively address its concerns over recent developments in Hong Kong, which is home to a sizable Indian community. However, China on Thursday warned of strong countermeasures, saying foreign pressure would never succeed. In some other news, India has expressed a strong concern over the reports of vandalism, defacement and destruction of ancient Buddhist archaeological sites in Gilgit-Baltistan in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. In a statement, Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Anurag Srivastava said it is a matter of grave concern that Buddhist symbols are being destroyed and the religious and cultural rights and freedoms are being trampled with impunity in the Indian territories that are under illegal occupation of Pakistan. The Indian government has sought immediate access for its experts to the area in order to restore and preserve this invaluable archaeological heritage. The latest development come in the wake of reports that unknown elements had damaged 800 AD Buddhist rock carvings. Some residents of GilgitBaltistan posted the pictures on social media. And Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu on Friday held detailed discussions on various options for conducting the proceedings of Rajya Sabha during the ensuing monsoon session of Parliament. A broad position that emerged was to enable the seating of members of Rajya Sabha in the chamber and the galleries of the House in conformity with the norm of physical distancing and to enable virtual participation of other members from either the Central Hall or the Balayogi Auditorium in the Parliament House premises. Here are the details. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu on Friday held detailed discussions with the Secretary General and senior Rajya Sabha Secretariat officials on holding the monsoon session of the Rajya Sabha. Various options were considered on conducting the proceedings. They included allowing only a limited virtual participation at present in view of the capacity constraints of the NIC. Chairman Naidu reiterated that capacities will need to be upscaled in due course for a larger virtual parliament. He suggested that the effort should be to enable participation of the members in the proceedings from within the House to the extent possible. The chamber and the galleries of Rajya Sabha can accommodate 127 members while adhering to the physical distancing norm. All galleries except the media gallery will be used for seating the members. Seating of the media persons in the media gallery would also be in conformity with the physical distancing for which guidelines would be evolved. For enabling viewing of members from outside the chamber of the House, it was felt that screens would be needed both within and outside the chamber of the House as required. Given the limited seating capacity of 127 members in the chamber and the galleries of the House, Chairman Naidu directed officials to draw up appropriate plans to seat members based on the strength of various parties in the House or any other effective criteria, like preparing a list of members for the day who will participate in the proceedings of the House. Issues pertaining to question are voting in the House if required, administrating oath or affirmation to the newly elected members, detailed planning for transportation of members, effective measures for physical distancing and sanitization were also discussed. The chairman also directed officials to submit a detailed action plan for consideration by early next week. Friday's review was aimed at enabling the Rajya Sabha Secretariat to be in a position to execute the best possible option of holding the proceedings and take necessary action whenever the government decides to hold the monsoon session as per constitutional provisions. This is Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV. And now an update on the coronavirus situation in our country, and India has recorded another day of single highest jump in COVID-19 cases. With over 20,000 cases being reported, the infections in the country have crossed 6.25 lakh. However, with more than half patients recovered, the recovery rate has crossed 60%. Take a look. COVID-19 cases in India rose to over 6.25 lakh after nearly 21,000 fresh cases were reported in the past 24 hours. This is the highest single-day jump so far. The death toll from coronavirus rose to 18,213, including 379 fatalities in 24 hours. However, recoveries also showed a huge jump, with more than half, that is over 3.79 lakh patients getting cured so far. In the past 24 hours, 20,032 patients were declared cured, the highest single-day figure in recoveries so far. With this, the recovery rate has jumped to 60.72%. There are now close to 2.27 lakh active coronavirus cases in the country. The gap between recovered patients and active cases has now widened to 1,52,452. Over 92 lakh COVID-19 tests have been done so far, including 2.41 lakh samples tested in the last 24 hours. The number crossing 20,000 cases in a day is attributed to 5 of the top 10 states, with maximum case loads reporting their highest single-day figures on Thursday. These include the states of Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. Maharashtra reported over 6,000 cases in the last 24 hours, in a record high for the first time since the global coronavirus outbreak, taking its total count to over 1.86 lakh. Maharashtra also reported more than 8,000 recoveries in a single day. Tamil Nadu crossed the per-day 4,000 mark for the first time and found 4,343 cases on Thursday. Telangana and Karnataka, two of the fastest COVID-growing states right now, reported 1,213 and 1,502 cases respectively, while 845 new cases were found in Andhra Pradesh. At 2.91%, India's mortality rate is remarkably lower than the global average of 4.82%. The United States, the worst-hit country right now, has a mortality rate of 4.63%, followed by Brazil at 4.12%. High recovery rate, lower active cases have become the deciding matrices in the fight against COVID-19. If the trend holds for 2 weeks, it could indicate the disease has peaked and a decline has started. This, along with low death rate, can indicate a country's success over the deadly disease. Meanwhile, the ICMR has asked Hyderabad-based Bharat Biotech to complete clinical trials of COVID-19 vaccine, Covaxin, by 15th of August. The country's first indigenous COVID-19 vaccine has been developed by Hyderabad-based Bharat Biotech in collaboration with the ICMR and National Institute of Virology. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. The Vande Bharat mission entered its 4th phase on Friday. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Anurag Srivastav said over 500 flights will be operated. They include both Air India and private carriers that are ramping up operations in a big way. Air India will operate 170 flights to bring back Indians from 17 countries. It will fly 114 flights, while Indigo and Go Air will operate 457 and 41 flights respectively. 38 of these are on the India-UK route and 32 on the India-US one. Besides this, Air India will operate 26 flights to Saudi Arabia. Indigo will operate 238 flights from Qatar, 219 flights from Kuwait, while Go Air will have 41 flights from Kuwait. Government said over 4,75,000 people have returned under the mission. And now an update on the global coronavirus situation, and the coronavirus pandemic is worsening globally, with the number of infections having crossed 11 million cases around the world and over 5,24,700 deaths being reported.
On Thursday, the World Health Organization warned that the real number of people infected with the virus could be 10 times more than the number of the confirmed cases. The Americas represent almost half the world's cases, with over 5.31 million infections. It is followed by Europe with more than 2.74 million cases. The number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in the United States surpassed 2.61 million, with over 55,000 new cases reported on Thursday. In response to the worsening situation, several U.S. states have reinstated safety measures. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has ordered wearing of face masks in public. He has also given local authorities the ability to ban outdoor gatherings of more than 10 people. New York City has appointed social distancing ambassadors to monitor crowding, distribute face masks, and encourage hygiene. Meanwhile, several countries worldwide continue to restore normalcy and open up. Brazil's Rio de Janeiro has allowed bars, restaurants, and gyms to reopen despite a heavy coronavirus death toll. Brazil has the world's second largest outbreak in the world, with total cases nearing 1.5 million and death toll over 60,000. As the pandemic refuses to die down, Germany took over the presidency of the European Union Council from Croatia on Wednesday for the next 6 months. As the largest economy of the EU, Germany will lead the continent to overcome the pandemic and economic hardships that have followed. Thailand allowed limited groups of international travelers to visit the country on Friday amid new safety measures. Among the measures, the airports have installed a coronavirus lab for testing passengers. For now, diplomats, government guests, representatives from foreign countries and business travelers are being allowed to enter the country. Egypt reopened major tourist attractions across the country on Wednesday in an effort to resume work and revive the economy. The country has also reopened its airspace and hotels on July 1st to revive the aviation and tourism industries. Saudi Arabia has increased the value-added tax rate from 5% to 15% to mitigate the fiscal imbalance caused by the pandemic. Some countries continue to experience a resurgence in infections. On Friday, Tokyo confirmed 124 new cases, mostly related to nightlife venues. The government is now asking people to refrain from engaging in nightlife activities. Japan lifted the state of emergency on May 25th. South Korea reported 63 new coronavirus cases as of Thursday, bringing the national tally to 12,967 infections, including 282 deaths. 31 of the new cases were reported from the Seoul metropolitan area, which has been at the center of a virus resurgence since last May. China reported 5 new COVID-19 cases on Friday, including 2 local cases from Beijing.
In some other news, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs launched the 6th edition of Swachh Surviction on Friday. The ministry announced a new category of awards titled Prerak Daur Samman as part of Swachh Surviction 2021. The 6th edition of Swachh Surviction was launched on Friday. Swachh Surviction is an annual survey of cleanliness, hygiene and sanitization in cities and towns across India. It was launched as part of the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. In a departure from the present criteria of evaluating cities on population category, a new category will categorize cities on the basis of 6 select indicator-wise performance criteria. These include segregation of waste into wet, dry and hazard categories, processing capacity against wet waste generated, processing and recycling of wet and dry waste, construction and demolition waste processing, percentage of waste going to landfills, sanitation status of cities. Addressing the participants through a webinar, Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Hardeep Puri said that Swachh Surviction has become a tool for citizen engagement in the spirit of a true Jan Andolan.
A major focus of Swachh Surviction has always been on citizen engagement. This year, the citizen-centric focus has been enhanced substantially, as marks will be allotted for innovations led by citizens and their contribution to the city's solid waste management.
A key highlight of the event was also the launch of the integrated SPM Urban MIS portal. The launch of the integrated MIS portal is an effort by the ministry to bring numerous digital initiatives on a single platform, thus ensuring a unified and hassle-free experience for states and cities and leading the way towards the creation of not just a Swachh but a truly digital India. While Mysuru had won the award for the cleanest city of India in the first edition of the survey, Indore has retained the top position for 3 consecutive years, 2017, 2018 and 2019. The results for Swachh Surviction 2020 will be announced soon by the ministry. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV. And Saturday marks Asar Purnima, an auspicious day for Buddhists all over the world. The day commemorates Buddha's first sermon to his first 5 disciples at Deer Park in present-day Sarnath near Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh. The International Buddhist Confederation, under the aegis of the Ministry of Culture, is celebrating the day as Dharma Chakra Day. President Ramnath Kovind will inaugurate the Dharma Chakra Day from the Rashtrapati Bhavan on Saturday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also deliver a video address to emphasize Lord Buddha's teachings of peace and justice. Culture Minister Prahlad Patel and Minister of State for Minorities Affairs Kiran Rijiju will address the opening ceremony. A special address by the President of Mongolia will be read out, and a valuable Buddhist manuscript of Indian origin preserved in Mongolia for centuries will be presented to the President. All the celebrations will be held virtually. Buddhists and Hindus observe the day as Guru Purnima as a mark of reverence to their gurus. Moving on in the bulletin now, the Defence Ministry has cleared acquisitions worth 38,900 crore rupees to bolster the combat capability of the armed forces. And the focus of these procurements is Make in India. In a meeting chaired by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, the Defence Acquisition Council has cleared procurement of 33 frontline fighter jets along with other military equipment. The procurement includes 21 MiG-29 fighter jets from Russia. Approval has also been given to upgrade the existing 59 MiG-29 aircraft. Equipment worth 31,130 crore rupees is to be made in India with participation of several MSMEs. These include 248 Astra beyond visual range air-to-air missile systems. The acquisition clearance, including purchase of 21 MiG-29 jets from Russia, came on the day Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin agreed to strengthen bilateral cooperation and strategic ties. In a telephonic conversation, Prime Minister Modi congratulated President Putin on the success of celebrations marking the 75th anniversary of victory in the Second World War. He termed the Indian contingent's participation in the military parade in Moscow on 24th of June as a symbol of abiding friendship between the two countries. India is also set to receive delivery of S-400 anti-air defense systems from Russia by late 2021. However, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has urged Russia to deliver the weapon systems ahead of schedule. And the Railways has invited requests for qualifications for private companies to operate 151 passenger trains on 109 origin destination routes.
151 modern train racks will be introduced for the purpose, for which Railways has invited requests for qualifications. The first initiative to allow private investment to run passenger trains on the Indian Railways network started last year with the Indian Railway Catering and Tourism Corporation (IRCTC) introducing the Lucknow-Delhi Tejas Express. The 109 origin destination pairs have been organized into 12 clusters. Each train will have a minimum of 16 coaches. The project will entail investment of about 30,000 crore rupees. Majority of trains will be manufactured in India. The private entity will be responsible for train financing, procuring, operation and maintenance. Trains will operate at a maximum speed of 160 kilometers per hour. The concession period for the project will be 35 years. The private entity will pay Indian Railways fixed haulage charges, energy charges as per actual consumption, and a share in gross revenue determined through a bidding process. Trains will be operated by drivers and guards of the Indian Railways. The initiative aims to introduce modern technology with reduced maintenance and reduced transit time. It is expected to boost job creation, increase safety while providing a world-class travel experience to the passengers. Also targeted is a reduction in demand-supply deficit in the passenger transportation sector.
And that's it in this edition of News Tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Good night and take care.